So Amandla Stenberg, the lead actor in Disney's The Acolyte, put a music video out. It's a diss track and it's kind of amazing in all the wrong ways. She claims she made it in 72 hours and somehow she writes lyrics, rhymes, sings and dances worse than she acts.
Attack me with all your strength.
Well, I don't usually engage in a battle of wits with someone who's clearly unarmed, but you asked for it. Let's start with the outfit that makes it look like she's a streetwalker. Her dance moves during the chorus make it look like she's having a seizure. All over the whole video is kind of ugly and massively ill-advised. She needs to put more tasteful clothes on, or just more clothes on, or stop gyrating her groin area at the camera. She does this dance every chorus where she says repeatedly, "We so bored. Don't F with your discourse," and frankly that seems to be the audience's response to The Acolyte and Amandla and Disney in general. I mean, it's an almost Herculean effort to have managed to make yourself more dislikable to me than Rachel Zegler in an even shorter time, but somehow she managed it.
Yeah. Weird.
I went from barely even knowing who this person was to a strong dislike in a matter of minutes. I must have seen her in things before, but she clearly made no impact whatsoever, and at this point I would be entirely satisfied if I never hear her name again. The song was Amandla's rebuttal to alleged racial prejudice that she claims she's received for The Acolyte. She didn't actually provide any evidence of any on the post though, and then with no little irony, she proceeds to spew racial prejudice throughout the song. She addresses the viral clip of her saying this.
Well, I mean, white people crying actually was the goal.
And then adds context when she says,
"When I was a teen, I was running from city to speak on the story, you know the one. Oh, you smell like a black boy. Yeah, my people cried in the theaters, find it releasing. White people cried, they could see us as human beings. Trevor asked what I want the people to know. I said white people crying, what's the goal? If they could take one thing, what would it be? I say empathy. Oh, that's why they mad at me."
And yes, that interview you did made me mad at you because you were making broad generalisations about people based purely on their skin colour. My people. She's just gone full racial identitarian, lumping people into crude blocks based on their ethnicity. And here's a clue. If it would not be okay to say black people crying was the goal, or Jews crying was the goal, it's not okay to say it about white people.
Dude, the desperation of the process is rising.
Girl, who is oppressing you? You're getting paid God only knows how much money for acting badly in an awful TV show. Sorry, but you're coming off as really bigoted. And so is Disney, the company you work for, if the latest story from James O'Keefe is true as presented.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
no way we're hiring a white male person. We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what's wrong." They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting. I mean, it kind of feels like we're, at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels.
Disney at this point is looking rotten to the core. Later on, she says,
Don't let it get to my spirit, but I'm sick and tired of suppressing my rage. 400 years of taking the to compartmentalize that my ancestors had to encage.
and answers on the back of an envelope, which she is talking about. Because I very much doubt it's the they-them rat thing from The Acolyte. And it's white people, isn't it? Her people. This is her dad, by the way. Tom Stenberg. He's Danish from Copenhagen. He must be so proud. She's half white. Why are white people not her people? Why are all people not her people? She'd better hope other groups don't start doing the same, or America, like her video, is going to get very ugly very fast. And how long are people supposed to hang on to grievances about slavery? Seriously, for 400 years. You don't get to claim oppression points for things that happened to other people before you were born. I have to break it to you, sweetie, but I'm from the UK and you're half Danish. So not so long ago, some of your ancestors from your father's side may have been travelling up the coast of the UK and Ireland, taking slaves, putting axes in people and initiating, let's call it, surprise unwanted romance with the locals. Pick some people on the planet anywhere and try to find me some that have never felt hard done by any other group. Do you think the people of the UK at the time particularly enjoyed the Roman invasion? People didn't like your show. How did you get onto slavery from there? The sad fact of life is that for pretty much everyone on the planet, I would expect if you look back in their family tree hard enough, you would find, like Spike Lee did, both people that kept slaves and people that were enslaved. History is kind of complex. Quite a few of America's slave owners were themselves black. And why is a white boy in the US being killed by police seemingly not an issue for her? Does she just get to ignore the white part of her ancestry when it benefits her career? She talks like this stuff doesn't happen to other groups. Look up Daniel Shaver and get back to me. And why is it only an issue when the police are involved? But we get cases like Socoria Turner and you can hear crickets. The levels of projection and gaslighting in this song are just off the charts. She's extremely unpleasant with highly prejudicial views. You haven't rebutted what I got from the Trevor Noah interview, you've just reinforced it.
I said white people crying, what's the goal? If they could take one thing, what would it be? I say empathy. Oh, that's why they mad at me.
Why do you expect people you have othered and demonised to cry for, quote, your people when you don't care about their people? In fact, you actively come off as hating them. Where's your empathy for them exactly? She goes on.
And now you're listening, I'ma tell you something fascinating. They spin and woke, bastardize it and appropriate it. Let's start a club, book or something with creators. Speak truth to power, keep an eye out for you silly racists. And now they use it to describe anything they threaten by. Remember when Gambino put it in the zeitgeist? It was all about the people recognizing bigotry.
And you failed. You have failed spectacularly to recognise bigotry and deal with it in yourself. And no, you don't get to say zeitgeist, that's German I'm afraid. You don't get to bastardise and appropriate it. Your rules, not mine. But at this stage, I don't expect Amandla Stenberg to be anything other than a cretinous hypocrite and perpetual self-made victim. This fool talking about how people use woke to discredit things they feel threatened by, while throwing around accusations of racism and oppression like they're going out of fashion to do the exact same thing she's accusing other people of doing. And if we're doing the whole racial identitarian thing, can the UK and my people please have all the computers back that we invented? Because I don't think I approve of them being used to make horrible music videos and spread racial hatred. In reality, technology tends to be more collaborative. Just look at electricity. We have volts, named after Alessandro Volta of Italy. We have amps, named after André-Marie Ampère of France. We have watts, from James Watt of Scotland. Ohms, from Georg Siemens Ohm of Germany. Farads, from Michael Faraday of England. You get the idea. There's a line from Martin Luther King Jr. We must live together as brothers or perish together as fools. And I was kind of hoping the world would get past crude identitarianism and tribalism at some point. That we could share what we are with each other and try to grow from it together. But it seems not. But maybe Amandla is right. Maybe she's not part of my people. She, by her own words, has put herself firmly in the fools category.
Of course!
Never rub another man's rhubarb.